Alright. What's up, everybody? It's Ninja Owner Ninja, and so basically, I'm watching this video, right? Let me get it proper. Okay. So I'm watching this video, and basically, they're talking about the judge exposes California's absurd gun logic and fiery dissent. And this is uploaded by Dave the lawyer, basically. So I'm assuming that's Dave. I don't know why he's dressed as a judge, but whatever. But the point is that basically, the world, like, understand, like, a lot of kids don't know this. I didn't know this because the world around me didn't know this. And that's a problem because all of society should know this, basically. And I mean, at any point, anywhere, any place, at any stop, in any state throughout the nation, this should be known. There is a difference between education and intelligence, basically. And I feel that there is a lot of highly educated dogs in the world that are just pushing an agenda forward. And they're doing it absent of thought or absent of intellect, basically. And this is kind of, I think, the fear of AI taking over the world because it gets too smart. And the truth is that AI will never take over the world because it'll never get too smart. Like, it can do what we do, but a million times better, but it can only do what we do, basically, because it's us, essentially, right? And we don't have that mechanism to create life, essentially, because life and intelligence are almost one and the same. I say that an intelligent creature is one that if you take out of its element, it tries to get back into it. Basically, so if you take like a human, you drop it into a water, right? He's gonna swim up to float to the top so he can breathe. If you take a fish out of water, it'll just try to flop around until it gets back into the water, right? Of course, it's a lot harder for the fish because he doesn't know where he is or what he's doing. But if he knew there was a pond to his left, he would jump to his left, right? And basically, my point is that the world is kind of absent of this thought process. Like, I don't think, like, the Pavlov experiment in school, I don't think a lot of people would have done that this day and age because they don't have intelligence. Like, they have education, they know it, but they know it because it was written that way. They don't know it because they did the math and it makes sense, like, in their head logically. They don't have that. And I think that's what's going on. And the problem is that bad men or corrupt people put, like, this video that I'm watching, like, the lawyer that's defending the gun and you, they're taking it apart and saying it doesn't make sense and it's kind of stupid. The point is, you're probably an honest person. I don't think that what's it called? You grew up with the world normal. I think something different happened to you, the same to me, basically. Where we can see eye to eye is intellectuals and talk intellectually, right? But a lot of people just have they have that connection, but at a very lower level, where like dogs or animals have a connection. And like, I've seen situations. It's so bad. Like, dog, we're not there yet. Yet we're close. I've seen situations where a dog that has basically been, grew up on the left forever over here, and the dog of the opposite sex grew up with a riot over here, then they never met, and then they cross each other's, uh, they meet each other, and then the male impregnates the female, and then they never see each other again. I believe that we're like basically there. Like that's literally, some of us are that bad. And that lawyer is basically of that world, but he's educated, right? So he's educated and he can fake it and he can pretend, fake it to make it, and he can pretend and he can do the job, but he actually lacks intelligence. And I think basically, um, most employers in the world actually lack intelligence as well, and they don't hire people that might take their job one day because they're intelligent, basically, and so they will only hire other idiots, and so the store or the business is gonna suck because they're stupid and only hire people who are stupider. It's kind of like Trump in the whole situation, where like everyone's free to do whatever they want, as long as you don't do it to me. Like, so basically, you have freedom of speech, but don't say shit about me, or else you will be banned from speaking. Basically, like that's, I think, what Korea was, or not Korea, but Japan or China. I think it was China. But yeah, but yeah. Anyways, so that's kind of the world that we're going to, a world that doesn't have intelligence, and a world that only has education. And if you have intelligence, someone's here. Sorry. Um, but yeah, education and intelligence. Basically, my point was, you are an intelligent man. That lawyer is an educated lawyer. That 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 fight that you're having basically is because at one point in the system, like right now, we're being led by educated evil people who are using any kind of intelligence for evil. Like they're cutting the government so that they can put more money into Elon, for example, or into their own pockets, or they're trying to cut healthcare because again, you have too much money. We're taking it away from you and trying to give it to us, but we can't take that money until we cut your system. So that's what they're doing, and I think that's the difference. What's going on, and so basically, back to the lawyer case, for example, because the bad leadership and bad laws and people that are paid to, what are they called, bribers, but there's a word for it, where they're allowed, you're not, it's not bribery, it's something, I forgot what it was called, but basically it's illegal bribery, but basically, um, because of them and their influence, they change the rules. And so intelligently, which what you're doing, it doesn't make sense. But because he's educated to believe this and does it without question, which is why he did well, my argument for the world, basically, which is like they favor the stupid. It's like being employed, the employment example I told you about, where it's like, you're not going to be smarter than me, but I'll hire you. And that guy, that lawyer, basically, he was born somewhere where there's a smart dude who's probably taking advantage of him, or maybe he got lucky and met someone intelligent and educated him incorrectly, and he believes this stuff, or he's just arguing it because he has to, and he knows it's wrong. Intelligently, he knows it's wrong, but because he is paid by the lobbyists, as though they were not bribery but lobbying, basically same thing, but because he's being paid by the lobbyists to say, that 2 plus 2 is 5. He says 2 plus 2 is 5, and he makes his argument that 2 plus 2 is 5. And again, you have a problem because you thought your own way without the bribery, basically. Like myself. Like, you grew up in your own world, in your own thoughts, your own ideas, and yet you believe that 2 plus 2 is 4, yet you into the world and they have these. Wait, you're saying that this gun's illegal if it has 11 bullets, but it's legal if it has 10? That seems kind of stupid, right? And it's because it is. It is stupid. But it's legal because the bribery or the lobbyist or whatever, they paid people to initiate this law, and I think that's why America's fucked up, is because the lobbyists and the dog-minded people or the educated people who lack intelligence that refuses to hire people with intelligence for fear that they'll take over because and that's what's going on, that's why they want to make the world stupider, right? Instead of making the world better, they make it stupider so they can stay on top regardless of what. Like, I have to fight you, and because I put up too good of a fight and you lost, basically, the only reason why you won is because you have a T on your shirt for Trump. That's the only reason why you won. So as a result, I'm now banned from being a lawyer so that I'll never ever be able to put up a fight again. And on top of that, they're cutting the funding for lawyer schools, so now lawyers are legal, basically. But they can't do that, basically, because then people will be like, wait, what? You can't, no, fuck you. What the hell? No. So instead, what would people accept? Oh, I know. How about instead of health care for everybody, it's just health care for people who actually voted or this or you know what I'm saying? They're trying to create basically it's impossible. I know that getting what's called disability insurance. Me myself, I had a lot of medical conditions, and I'm trying to go through SSI, basically, and it's a bitch. Like it's a bitch, right? There's a lot of fucking hoops, a lot of paperwork, and there's scumbags along the way that's like, oh, we didn't receive that paper, and then you're like, I have a copy and it's stamped. And like, oh, I found it, and it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they do that kind of shit to fuck you over. Like, you've been waiting for how long? How much do we owe you? Yeah, fuck that. Your case is denied because your packet's incomplete, right? And they're hoping that you don't have a complete packet, blah, blah, blah. And I know this because my sister took pictures, unfortunately for them, and they tried to say that, we didn't have it, or we didn't accept it, but my sister took pictures, and so they had to accept it. What if she didn't have the pictures? I would have been fucked. That's what it would have happened. And that's what I'm saying. The whole world is like that. And I could, at the border, I am sure the kids are being raped 24/7. That it's all California and the rich that are trying to, all the fentanyl, oh, we need to make it illegal. Meanwhile, keep making that fentanyl, you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And they sell it to Mexico, and then Mexico sells it back to us, or maybe it's made in Mexico by Americans and then shipped over the border with Americans, but unfortunately gets caught with Americans. You know what I'm saying? It's not America that's fucking over the world. It's the evil part of America that's fucking over the world. Same thing with China. It's not China that's bad. It's the government or the Reds in China that's bad. And what that is dog-minded people. It's people who are just intelligent enough to know if you're, they're just intelligent enough, but they're only educated basically, so they can tell oh, you're smart, shut up, down, like on your knees. Like that's why the whole system is that way. No matter who or what you are or how whatever you bring on your knees around me, because I am your Lord, I am your master on your knees. And that's kind of how we met. Basically, it's like, how the fuck are you ever to know that that dude's actually an engineer or a heart physician? How would you know that? You wouldn't, and that's the point, to keep him low, and that's what America and Trump is doing in America, right? It's the same fucking thing. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. So, the point, again, just to recap, now that you know all the history, the issue is that the law is as it is because bad people made it so. And you, having your own, grown up your own way outside the system of we're trying to make the world suck and trying to fuck over the world, and a lot of people get caught in that shit. And there are some people like you and me that grew up part of it, or away from it rather. Like I seen how bad it can be, and I was like, I don't want any part of that. I'm good, and I, may have grown up alone, but at least I ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably how you were, and probably how a lot of people were, basically. And so we grew up, and now we have an intelligent 2 plus 2 is 4 to us. 2 plus 2 is 4 for us, and so we look over and we're like, "Why are you saying 2 plus 2 is 5?" And that's the whole guns and the magazine and whatnot, and the whole fight between you two. And we're like, "Why the fuck? Why are you saying that?" When it just seems stupid. Like logically, it's stupid on paper. It's stupid, but because for reasons, it's whatever, and that's kind of how the world is. Because again, bribery or lobbyists, basically, they brought it up, and again, it's rare, but an honest judge was born and showed up and was like, "Well, fuck that." That's why there's another judge. I forgot his name. I was just watching his videos earlier today. Let me see if I can actually find him in the history real quick, because I think it's important. And basically, what he did, and he kind of, I think, explains what I'm talking about very well. Basically, because the world is so shitty. There he is right there. That's not him. He's a judge.
Why is everybody putting up with ads?
Shut up. It's an ad. Skip. Alright, 1 second. Let me move that there. Let me do this. Do it. Oops. This judge right here, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So him. Let's get rid of that shit on the right. Him, basically, he is probably a lot like or unlike the system. And he's like, that makes no sense. Get out of here. You're free. You're free. You're free. And a lot of people that see him like him, not because he's just letting everybody go, but because he's actually honest and truthful and not trying to push an agenda and doesn't have bribery behind it or I'll just say propagandists, lobbyists uh, behind him, basically to oh, you're Mexican, oh, you're black, guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have that kind of bias with him. But I think in this was it in this one? No, it's not this one. It was in another one. Um, 1 second. Do that. Go back to my history. Because the point they're trying to get to is that same judge basically talked to a black girl, but the thing was, he didn't let her go because she's black, and also he didn't hold her up because she's black, right? The thing was that he actually got to know her and like his he read her. He used his intelligence, which again, as I said, a lot of people do not have, and unfortunately, oh, there's more here. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of people do not have intelligence. This yesterday, though. Yeah, I just watched it though. But because people don't have this intelligence, it gets lost. And this person, this lady, she gets yeah, it's not here for oh what the hell. That was oh my god, that was Thursday. Yeah, that was so I went yesterday and I was looking at the day before as well. I'm really looking. There it is. Yeah, this is. Okay. And so the point with this one is simply to show that he had her show up and he was talking to her and he intelligently viewed her. And again, no bias, not because you're black, I love you or hate you, but because she's a shitty person, he voted against her, right? When it came to the case, basically, like it's like you need to be responsible. And in her history, she had to take these breathalyzer tests because like drinking or something, and she did not show up for any of the tests. So to vote one way would be to trust her to show up to take the tests, but she has a history of not showing up to take these tests, and she's trying to say that she doesn't drink and that it was her hand wipes or whatever to clean her hands. That's why the alcohol was the sensor went off, and she doesn't drink. But there's a paper that the judge has from the breathalyzer that shows she had toxicity levels, right? So she's a liar. And again, he's making, building in his head and judging her based on that, not because of a predisposed, um, what's it called? Not because of bias, not because of propaganda, not because of bribery, not because of that word that for some reason we allow to happen. Basically bribery again. For whatever it'll come back to me. It always happens. But the point is, he's intelligent, and so he intelligently um, interviews her, reads her, finds her to be bad, and throws her away, basically, because she's bad. That makes sense. Like, I would too. Like, anybody in their right mind would. Bribery? No, what the fuck is it called? Lobbying. Lobbyist. That's what it was. So that's what's going on, basically. And you're fighting against the system that they set, basically. And it's harder to do good than it is to do bad. Like, to do good, you have to do basically 10 times the work versus somebody who did bad. And what happens, I think, there's why America isn't transcended yet, is every so often we get people like Trump who basically takes advantage of, like, when I meet somebody, all the kindness and all of, like, hey, how you doing? He socks you in the face, takes all your money and leaves. And he does that until he walks up and tries to do it, and the guy defends, and he does it, and the guy defends it, and he stops doing it, and now he's saying, I'm an honest person, I'm carefree, let's get back to normal, and then everyone's back to normal, but he robbed 10 people. Like, you literally just robbed 10 people, and now you want to get back to normal? Now you want to act like nothing happened? Now you want to act like no one got fucked over? So you robbed Americans, destroyed Americans, and it's okay. No, like, and that's what happened the last time Trump was president as well with COVID. Like, a lot of people took advantage of the money and like, all handouts, handouts, handouts. but Marjorie Taylor Greene got like $500,000 from handouts, right? And there's a bunch of places that sold out, or that sold out, but that basically went under in California. And so what happened was, I believe, a lot of people in the South bought those places so that they can impact California. And they're trying to change California from a blue state to a red state with that. Because, again, and that's what they're doing with Trump and whatnot. They're trying to fuck over the blues, and they're trying to favor the reds. And it's under this kind of Hitler guys, if you will, like it's Nazi guys, or it's like, oh, it's fine, haha. And people are knowing it. Everyone's aware of it. Like, why is it that when Trump does this, everyone's like, ha ha ha, but when the same thing is done by so and so, everyone's like, wait a minute, and then now you want to be serious with us, but fuck around with him? Fuck that shit. Like, no, like we need, 2 plus 2 to be 4. Right now, it's four. Trump is 4 plus 0, meaning when we come to the table, everyone wants to be even. But when Trump's at the table, everyone lets everything go because it's Trump. It's Trump. It's Trump. It's Trump. No, no, and that's what people took advantage of, right? That's honestly what I think it has been going on for a long time since I think Bush, or even pre-Bush. I think that's what's been going on for a long time. Like the whole war in Iraq, and maybe the towers as well. Like who fucking knows? But anyways, that's it. So be well, be happy, be awesome. I know this is depressing as shit, but it's stuff that adults especially have to face, and you have to face it because it'll make the world a better place if you do it. Basically, if someone who can, like, I watched Destiny, and he's always begging, like, please somebody stand up, please somebody stand up. It's like, why aren't you standing up? Like, that's why, like, oh, cause I don't want to lose my riches and my money. Yeah, I have too much. I have a kid, and I have like, okay, and so you don't want to do anything and just fuck everybody else over? Like, that makes no sense. I don't want to lose my money, so it's okay if everyone loses theirs. As long as we all lose together, it's fine. Like, makes no sense. Uh, I think that basically is what women have to go through because they're the caretaker, right? Like they have a kid. Well, in the world that we live in now, basically. But even then, like you gotta remember, a few years ago, like quite a while ago, um, once upon a time, women couldn't work, and men did the work. But the point is, that was enough. You had your home, you had your house, and now it takes both of you to work. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, there's a everything I covered. Basically, there's a lot of fucking bullshit in the world because of this propaganda, fucking bribery, lobbyist bullshit. So, anyways,
And here
I'm
I
out
hope you
here.
will.
So take it easy, and I'm out. Peace. Oh wait, before I go, let me go ahead and check my website real quick, because there might be comments. I was talking for a good 30 minutes, so give them a chance. Looks clean so far. Refresh. And it's still clean. Basically, I stream, but because of what I believe, because was it years ago before my all this shit when I was like 19, a lot of people would show up on my channel. I'd play games, I'd play this and that, and people would show up and they'd talk. Just random people all the time. But the game is rigged. Basically, today the game is rigged, so almost nobody shows up ever. But yet, always, you'll see people pop up that they want you to see, that will sell you bad, like all that bridges to sell you, and they show up. Like for some reason, like the number one people in the world are the worst people ever. Like the number one singing artist or whatever would fuck your daughter and turn her into a whore ass slut and then leave her to die when she's done. And he's number one for some reason. His music is the best, right? And the reason why is because we have a natural instinct to kind of like the animal in us wants that aggression, especially when you're really young. You have this kind of personality when you're young, and the rich exploit that basically. And then me, I have wisdom, and a lot of people are like kind of turned off, especially the young, and like, oh, I don't want to hear the story, Dad. It's a stupid dad. You're full of shit, Dad. I don't know if they're talking about Dad, right? That whole wisdom spike or whatever. Like kids, are naturally kind of, and then so the system then takes over and makes it so nobody sees me ever. So, and again, like I don't always talk. Sometimes I play games. Sometimes I do both. But because of the way the system is, I'll never ever stand ever. It doesn't matter. And like so, unless you are, a sellout, you don't do well, and that's what happens. Sellouts win. Sellouts are making the money, no matter what. Sellouts win, and sellouts are making the money, no matter what. Doesn't matter who, what, where, when, or why. Sellouts make the money. That's the end of the story. Period. And that's why the world sucks. So, anyways, I'm out. So be well, be happy, be safe. God bless. Be strong. Hold on. Fight. Don't let it go, and share, like and share, because if you made it this far, if you're listening this far, you are one of our only hopes, and the only way for good to succeed is for good to carry on, basically. Like bad can win just by existing, but good needs to actually do something. So like my channel and share it, and whoever you're sharing it with, tell them to listen, to shut up, grow up, and listen, and learn, and make the world a better place. Because a lot of kids grow up, and a lot of kids were just thrown into the driver's seat. They're like, good luck. And that's why the world sucks. It's because the kids say, I don't want to go anywhere. And then how bad people are like, this is our chance. And that's why the Trump is the White House, basically. And all these bad people that should never be are there. And that's why fucking everybody show up in this chat and mistakes are happening left and right. But I'm out of here. I'm talking too much. 37 minutes. I'm out. Peace. Yeah, boy.